Hey, Jasmine here, and welcome to another book review. Last week, I finally started what I promised to do, which is read more indie novels. I'm sure I've read books from indie authors before. After all, when you're looking for every book you can on Kindle Unlimited, an indie author's work is bound to come up. But since my primary source for books is my Book of the Month subscription, I can't say I've bought physical copies from many indie authors, if any, over the years. Today I'm going to talk about When You Returned by Havella McClat. First, before I say anything about the book, as always, I'm going to read the plot description. Skip this part if you already know what the book's about, or if you would just rather read the plot description yourself rather than hear me read it. Is there love strong enough to heal the wounds of the past? Once a renowned skater, Jacqueline is now a single mother working at the beloved skating rink in a small town in Colorado that has been in her family for generations. When the rink is at risk of being lost, she looks for help from professionals. The last person she expects to help them get back on their feet is Laverne, an old flame from high school. After running from grief over the loss of his brother 8 years ago, Laverne is back in town on assignment from a company that helps struggling businesses. Assigned to help the rink recover, he must now face the girl he once loved and left behind. Together, Laverne and Jacqueline are the only hope to save her family's rink. But confronting the pain of the past might be more than they can imagine. When looking for a quick way to describe this book, I would say it reminds me of the Hallmark and Netflix Christmas movies, the sweet small-town romances. It's the kind of story you're likely to enjoy if you're just looking for a sweet romance. The premise for When You Returned is that Jacqueline's family skating rink is in danger after a foreclosure notice from the bank, and Laverne is the representative that his company sent to help them get the business back on its feet. I would describe this more as a small subplot. The issue of the rink is mentioned at the start, but doesn't play a very important role in the story. There's not much time spent discussing it. The true story is the one about Jacqueline and Laverne. There are a few things made clear from the start. One is that Jacqueline and Laverne haven't spoken in years, and the other is that Laverne left abruptly after the death of his brother. And those things are why this story is more about the two characters reconnecting and facing their feelings for each other. The story is told quickly, so there isn't much room for questions, but it does have its sweet moments. I would say the parts I enjoyed were the flashbacks, some between Jacqueline and Laverne, and others between Laverne and his brother. I think I've mentioned this before, but I don't like fan casting characters for romance books because I feel that the characters' age and appearance don't play as important of a role in romance as they do in other genres, because it's more about actor chemistry than anything else. Before I give my rating, I always like to clarify that my rating is entirely based on both my experience and whether or not I would read it again. That's why I generally leave that star rating on my website and keep it off the review websites, because I'm not a critic and it just seems ridiculous to mess up an author's Goodreads score with a low rating just because it wasn't my kind of thing. That being said, romance isn't really my thing unless it's some kind of like crime or thriller novel, something with a lot of mystery and suspense, which is why this book was a 2-star book for me, because it had moments I liked, but it's just not something I would read again, which is what I have to say about most romance novels, really. The main reason I even bother with a star rating is because maybe all my interests line up with yours, or you notice that all my favorite books and least favorite books are the same as yours, and in that case my page might become a guide that makes picking out your next read easier. I would recommend this novel to you if you're looking for a sweet romance to just sit back, relax, and let yourself get lost in the story. The next book I'm reading is another indie novel called The Girl in the Storm by Christopher Stanfield. Just making sure I'm holding it right because I held it upside down in one of the videos. This one is in one of my favorite genres to read, but mostly to write, contemporary fantasy. Stay tuned for the overview next Friday. Fingers crossed I can stick to my weekly schedule. You can find where to buy When You Returned in the description, along with my blog link if you want to see my review guide. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye!